on my Area 51 line. You're on the air. Hello.
Welcome to the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, where what you've known as reality will be shattered by the truth. Krista and Brandy will lift the veil from your eyes, revealing what has either been hidden or denied you for eons. Hey, how y'all doing? Well, I'm here flying solo for a little bit. Me and Mr. John Phoenix are going to have a little conversation. I do believe Brandy's going to be sliding into home here in a little bit. I believe she's working a little late tonight. But you know what? We're going to have... that's my other co-host, barking for some reason. Maybe he knows what we're fixing to talk about. I don't know. But, really? Get in here and lay down. Lay down. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Sorry, folks. There's probably somebody outside. But we've got this show's going to be interesting. I just met the gentleman a while ago. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to beat you up and not going to rake you over the coals, but I am going to ask some hard questions. And he said, you know what? That's cool. I can take the heat. So, what is going on? All right. So, everybody decides to show up at my house, drive my dog crazy, call me on the phone. So, let's get this thing started. How about it? Hello, John.
Hello, Tex. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know if this is an omen, what we got going on. Usually the intros go pretty smooth. And, but yeah, that was interesting.
Well, I'm used to it with the paranormal stuff. No problem.
So, real quick,
Yes,
let's introduce the folks to you. You're not new to this circle at all. But,
no.
Some people in our audience may not know who you are. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Yes, I am John Phoenix, and I'm living in Stockholm, Sweden. And I'm about pushing my 40s. And I have kind of great experience with the Dogman here in Sweden.
Right.
And I got a great knowledge of them. I don't know everything, but a hell of a lot. I think that it's up to the audience to decide if I'm honest or truthful or just a lying bastard. It's up to each and everyone to believe what I'm about to tell you. And I've been on some other shows, and of course I will push the PRT. Josh and his crew, they are tremendous. And I've been in contact with Josh for over 5 years now. So we had a show, I think it was last summer. I was on the PRT.
Yeah, Josh is a good buddy of mine. I think what really kind of, one thing that made us click, I think we clicked because we had Dogman experiences around the same age.
Yeah.
And so that was one thing that we connected over. And then personally, we just got along. I don't BS him, he don't BS me, and never has, so. But
yeah, that's what I like about in this corner, the PRT and friends, that all the shows I've been listening to, I listen almost every day for all the shows, and I like the straightforwardness and it is no BS. It's more informing the audience, not to tell just made up stories.
Right. Yeah. That's and I think that's probably one of the biggest things the biggest goals out of our what we lovingly call ourselves the Island of Misfit Toys, but is to raise the awareness this stuff is actually out there.
Oh yeah,
People are having you know fantastic, unexplainable experiences happen to them. Whether
yeah.
you want to, and whether people want to believe them or not, well, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people don't want to believe what's going on out there. It would scare the hell out of them if it did.
Oh yeah. And of course, like I said as before, the governments are involved in it because they will lose so much money if they acknowledge the paranormal stuff.
Yeah,
Everything. I mean, everything. Bigfoot, Dogman, whatever. The rake
right.
crawlers. Some people will get a happy trigger and want to go
Hmm.
out and hunt them down, and the rest of them will just flee because it's about the logging industry, it's about the
Yeah.
recreational industry with fishing, gaming, and everything in between. So that's why they keep it under wraps.
So how did you get? I mean, what happened? How did you get? I mean, did you have an encounter? How did you get into this?
Oh yeah, I will try to explain as good as I can. I'm sorry if I may be a bit repetitive or stumble upon my words because I have to translate in my head before I just talk. So bear with me, people.
Well, hey,
Um,
you know what? You're doing fantastic. So you speak
thank
better English than I do. So we're good to go.
thank you. I'm fluently in English, but sometimes it comes out very bad when I'm on the microphone online. I don't know
No,
why.
you're doing great. And my partner in crime just showed up. Mr. BMR himself is going to join us.
Yeah. Hello, Rob. Finally, we can talk again.
Hello, Mr. John Phoenix.
How you
Good to
doing,
hear you.
sir?
I'm doing
Good to hear you.
great.
Good to see you.
I'm glad you finally made it onto one of our shows. I'm not blowing you off, my man. I figured I'd let you grace the blondes and the booze. I'll get you on in the summertime. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds perfect. I'm all in for it. All you guys,
Awesome.
like I said before you enter the show, like you know that we've been texting that I'm in this corner with the PRT people and all the
Right.
associates and friends.
Okay, very
So
good, John.
the other ones, they don't have any access anymore due to various reasons.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, it started with when I was a kid. I lived out on a farm. We didn't have any animals, but I live on the countryside, the proper countryside, and you can say the climate, the structure of up here in Scandinavia is equivalent to Montana, Oregon, but we have, of course, not so large woods. I mean, the trees. So say we have vast woods here in Scandinavia, in the peninsula. And for you people, I don't live in Switzerland. Switzerland is beneath Germany. I live up in Scandinavia, Stockholm, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland is the Scandinavian countries. And since I was a kid, I've been walking out in the woods with my best friend, and I had some strange feelings, like the tingling on back of your neck.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know back then what it was. I got the answer way later on in life when I met Miss Misha, which is a good friend of mine. When I was a kid, I was dead scared of werewolves. I was really, really scared of werewolves when I was a kid. Nightmares about them. I love wolves. I love big dogs, German shepherds. I had one myself, and during my whole upbringing, I had this fascination for the paranormal. First of all, it was different kind of mysteries like the Loch Ness monster and other well-known mysteries. And then it faded away, and then when I came back to Sweden, because I lived abroad for a couple of years, the internet had become a thing, of course, in the early 2000. And then I sat online and read all about the ghost stories and the Bigfoot stories. And I've been always fascinated by the Yeti in Himalaya, the snowman. And one thing led to another, and it was a snowball effect. And then I came across Jan Thompson's story of the LBL. It was one homepage which is now have closed down. And then that one drew me further away into the Dogman werewolf stuff, you can say. And then I met Miss Misha online in the group, and she had an experience, and we start chatting, and we start talking over the phone. And then I went to her place, which is a couple of hours from Stockholm. And we went out on the bog, and that's where we met Big Alpha and his pack. And I think Rob and also Tex, I think both of you have seen the picture of the Big Alpha. It's also on my Facebook page, John Phoenix North. If the audience want to go in on my Facebook page and see the picture. And Big Alpha is 10 feet 4. He is 320 centimeters tall. And you can see in the picture, I've circled around his head, is some leaves and branches in front of his snout. But you can clearly see that he looks like a big German Shepherd, he was 5 times bigger, of course.
You said this was 10 foot, 4 inches tall?
Yep.
Wow. And the girth was, how wide was this thing?
He's about 6 feet,
Wide?
approximately. Wide,
Wow,
yeah.
wide. Wow.
Over the chest, yeah.
That's,
Approximately.
Yeah, I know they're approximates. That's one massive I digress. I don't know what I would do. I would probably have a bowel movement.
Yeah, but we didn't, because the funny thing is that actually, Miss Misha, she communicated with him back then, and then I went up to her place, and I was invited by him. So we have the whole pack standing on the bog from 11 to 7 o'clock clockwise, not time-wise.
Right.
We have a few pictures of it, but it's too blurry because they have this energy, so everything which is authentic, those pictures are pretty much blurry. It's hard to get the straight picture with the digital camera.
Right.
If you have an old-fashioned camera, it's easier to a pocket camera, the ones you had, in the 80s, 70s. You can snap a better shot of them than today with cell phones and all the electric stuff. So he said to us, "You're allowed to take one picture," and we did, and it came out like that.
I might have missed something because I got in late. I just finished up my little show that I did earlier, and then I thought Jason was coming on, so I didn't want to leave good old Tex by his lonesome. So I must have missed something here. You, Misha, communicated with this Dogman?
Big Alpha, yeah.
Yeah.
And we call him Big Alpha because the thing
He's
is,
bigger than the Alpha.
Big Alpha is the president of Europe. And then you have another Big Alpha for North America, another for South America, one for Asia, and one for Australia, and one for Africa. So the structure of real Dogman, the civilized Dogman from the beginning, it's just like a worldwide biker organization. So you have one president on each continent, and then you have a president for each country, and then you have a local president.
So you're talking about these Dogmen have their own elected body governing the Swedish force? No.
They have all over the world.
Oh, really? Okay.
So you have one top dog, one president
Right.
for each and every continent, or constantly in contact with each other telepathically, but they don't interfere in each other's business. So they're exactly like this worldwide biker organization, and I think you know which kind I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, what it boils down to, there's big groups and then like chapters and that type of thing, and
Yes, sir.
they all govern themselves. I obviously have a few questions.
Go ahead, sir.
When you mentioned civilized dogmen,
Yes, sir.
that made my ears, perk up. No pun intended. But so we do have to deal with the uncivilized?
Yes, in one way, because the civilized one are stemming here from Northern Europe in that way, because here 1003 was the last time they had traded business with the Vikings.
Okay.
And before that one, it's been fallout with the human, because all through the times, the latest one was up here, around year 1000, because the humans became greedy. They thought that they were superior, and they tricked, or actually they scammed the Dogman population of the agreements, the deals. The deals could be everything from trading goods and also territory. So that's why I say civilized up here.
Okay.
And when they came over to the U.S. continent, the American continent, there were not so many people back then. So they got more ferocious, and they split into different packs. And just like the biker gangs, you have one club or having a good local chapter president who follow all the rules because they have rules and regulations. And then you have one who are going a little bit, what do you say in English, gung-ho.
Right.
So everything that you guys have discussed now for a couple of years, all of you guys in the PRT corner, it's pretty much true. And that's why they became more ferocious, more aggressive, because they thought that when the settlers came to the American continent, they had these big fights, and the Dogmen were they wanted to prevent the humans to come into their territory, because they've been pushing back, pushback, you can say.
Right.
Because of the new expansion for humans, new cities, and so on and so on. And the reason I think I talked to Rob about it when we talked over the phone a year ago, that up in Michigan, they're very aggressive, because they have fallen out, or they have fights first with the natives and then with the settlers. So they are a little bit more settled, maybe in other places, except for Taylor, Mississippi, and so on. And they can hold grudges for generations. 4 generations. So if your great-great-great-grandfather shot one of them, then they have this blood feud with humans.
So, and I've said that even with Bigfoot, I mean, I think the clans are raised differently. If Grandpa Bigfoot or Dogman was shot in the ass back in the day,
yeah,
they don't like humans as much, and that's how they raise their kin. So I can understand that generational grudges,
Yep.
is what it amounts to. So where did are we talking about a being that is this what Anubis was?
Kind of, because the Dogmen, they came from different places
Okay.
in the universe. And they have been here since the dawn of time, both Bigfoot and Dogman, because their mission from the highest power, which is God, is actually to protect the humankind, not each and every one individual, but the
Right.
human race.
Yeah.
Because they can step in and out in portals, and they prevent other things to come in, actually be here on Earth. So they can go into the portal and kill whatever tries to come through.
So
And
are
then
you
they also
saying-
kill the other beings here, because regardless, they are on the good side. They are actually looking out for the human race.
So you think, well, this has been communicated to you and Misha that they are here to actually protect the human race, but not to instill fear?
Yeah, and the reason why the humans feel fear nowadays is because the fallout, of course, because they are still canine in that sense. They are like wolves, or even worse than that one. Sorry, and they know that the human mind can't grasp how they look, for instance. Because sometimes if you go out in the woods and you have this tingling feeling, they want to scare you off from something. Doesn't have
Right.
to be that they're territorial. But they don't have any vocal cords, so of course they can say, "Hey, Rob, go that way because now a crawler is over there." So
Gotcha.
they are territorial, of course, and then they also protect us from other things. They have fights with Wendigos. They have fights with skinwalkers. They have fight with the feral people. They have fight with crawlers.
What about with Bigfoot?
They have clashes with Bigfoot. The same like two biker gangs fighting each other, kind of. But they are here on the same purpose, so they keep a distance from each other. We even cooperate in some places, yes. And the reason why some dogmen are crazy or stuff like that, going AWOL, is because if you mess up really bad, you get expelled, and they are pack individuals. So
Right.
when they go rogue, they get crazy. So those ones who are proper dogmen, I can say, they are the ones who go crazy. They are the one who can attack humans. They are the ones who dig in the graves. They are the ones who smell, because they are become like bums, you can say. They lose everything. And not all of the rogue ones will survive, because if you do some kind of mutiny towards the president, you might get killed for severe things. But otherwise, if you just mess up, then you get expelled. You have to find your own
Excuse me.
territory. And in the US, they have so many more outcasts. So they form their own pack, and they become outlaws within that kind of community.
Yeah, I have to apologize really quick for missing a little bit of it. So Misha communicated. Did you yourself, John, also communicate with the Dogman, the leader of the pack, so to speak?
Yes,
So-
in time I did that one, but actually he
Let me,
communicated with me.
Okay. Really quickly then, when you did in time have a communication, were you actually observing it, and then was it through a telepathy? And did he kind of did it kind of lay out its plan
No,
for you to represent them, perhaps?
yes, you are spot on that way. Misha is a part of his pack, and I'm a part of another pack down here in Stockholm. But I haven't have any interactions telepathically with my local alpha yet, because they
okay.
decide. I don't decide. They decide.
Right.
I've seen two of my handlers. My handlers are my bodyguards. They are with me 24/7. Not maybe physical, but spiritual. They are around me all the time. I know it sounds crazy, but that's the truth. I've seen one of them, and the other one been standing like 6 feet behind the hedge. one summer one summer day. But the one that I saw, he was all on all fours, and he was about 6'7" in height and approximately 10 feet long, you can say. And he walked like a puma. And then he went up on his hind legs and hide behind one big, massive birch tree and peeking out over the shoulder, just like in the cartoons.
Right.
And it was
So-
a distance of approximately 50, 60 yards away. So
Okay.
it was close up. But Big Alpha, he has been also here in my apartment 2 times.
Physically,
One time,
or-
yeah. Well, it's more like a hologram.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
that I can go up from my bed and poke him, but yeah, he was
Right.
standing there. And the other time, I just felt him, and when he communicates with me telepathically, I can sometimes feel that he's here, and have so great stories onwards about him and his connection with Miss Misha that you would not believe, guys. You would not believe. I can just tell you that he's been playing with her kids, and her youngest one is snuggling with him like he's a big dog.
Mm.
And yeah.
So when these beings and what are, now here's a question. The term Dogman. I mean, this we didn't come up with that until like the late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah.
What's the correct term for them? What do
They
they
have a
call
name.
themselves?
They have a name for themselves, but it's very hard to pronounce. I speak with him in English for some reason, and Miss Misha speaks with him in ancient Nordic language, a mixture of Norwegian, Swedish, Danish, and they all have names. It's exactly like the house of bam bam bam,
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
it's inherited a Big Alpha title, but the Big Alpha is inherited. So his oldest son will become Big Alpha when he dies, and they get approximately between 80 to 120 years old, the alphas. And they prefer that we talk about them more like walking wolves rather than dogmen, because they're not very fond of dogs due to the humans have used dogs to hunt for them, and also they look down on dogs because dogs were domesticated by humans. So they
That's
think
understandable.
that dogs are weak. Both I and Miss Misha, we have dogs around us, and they accept her dog because they can sense the energy. So Big Alpha said to Misha that the dog that they have now is perfect match for her and the energy. So they don't have any problems that we have dogs, but they are not too fond of dogs.
Hey,
I have a wolf dog, and when I was out with him during one night, he was looking like 70 yards away, straight ahead, and he would start playing with something, and then I knew that my handlers, he could see them, but I couldn't, of course. But he was like a puppy; he wanted to play.
hey, John, really quickly, Misha, it's your friend.
Yep.
It's a human being, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So you said that you and her, you're a member of different packs.
Yes.
So as a member of a pack, as a human being, you're probably not a shapeshifter, right?
Nope.
So as a human being, you're a member of the pack. I'm just wondering how it came about that you were brought into the pack.
I will tell you guys. From the early age, they monitorize kids, and we're talking about lots of kids all around the world. Not like millions of kids, but a few thousands.
Right.
And then they see the inner spirit of those kids, and then they select. So you are selected by them, and then they test you, different ways and see which ones who can stand the heat. So it's kind of inauguration ritual that we are unaware of course. And then they see, because they can see through our soul, into our soul, they can see through you. They know everything about you. They monitorize you. You say monitorize, right, in English, right?
Well, monitor.
Monitor. Yeah, they monitor us. So
I like your word better.
We were selected by them. And of course, we have been tested, and we have been very scared, both of us on each end. The first
I
time.
would imagine. Yeah, I mean it's human nature. These things aren't supposed to exist according to us.
Yes.
You know, I have a question because we're in the middle of a private investigation. I don't know if you've heard about it or not. At a place we call Dogman Ranch down here in Texas.
Yep.
And we're dealing with a pack that's, as far as we know, it's 5 strong.
Yep.
Is there any? Now I know I don't expect you to do this right here in real time, but is there any way that we could get some insight on what's going on? Because we're also dealing with other phenomenon there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the big alpha appears to be the big alpha there. Seems to be like a protector. From what we've been told by Ulerson, which is the property owner.
Yeah.
We've had them come into camp. I believe I may have caught one on camera.
Yeah.
But we also have crawlers on that property also.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, any if you can get any insight on what things that could help us in that investigation, would be great. Like I said, I'm not asking you to do it real time. That's kind of impossible. But I don't want to hold your feet to the fire, but it's very, because I think there was an attack about 40 or so miles away as the crow flies, straight across us.
Yeah.
From where this place is. And a gentleman was killed. I believe it was a Dogman. Is it possible that in that territory we may have one of the rogues that you're talking about?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it could be. Usually the rogue ones are, told if they survive, if there are more misdemeanors, you can say, they get expelled. And like I said, if it's something more sinister and severe, they get executed because they have the trials as well.
Right.
So it could be one rogue one who maybe killed that one. But also the thing is that everything that looks like a Dogman isn't a Dogman. And Josh said that one a couple of shows ago, that the demonic ones, they can take any shape or form of everything, of course, as you know, guys.
Right.
So a lot of Dogman attacks isn't the proper Dogman, the species Dogman.
So there's
so they have
ones.
Sorry, Rob. They have if you come across the ones with yellow eyes, it's the one. Are the ones. If you come across the ones who are piercing red eyes from the beginning, and it's not Dogman. It could be the possessed ones, it could be demonic ones, it could be more like shapeshifter-ish ones.
Right.
But they are not the proper line of Dogman. And they don't like to eat humans. They can kill, of course, humans if they come too close, or they have some grudges to them, or so and so. Except for of course, the rogue ones. They are unpredictable. They are mad. But the thing is that if a rogue one kills a human, then they know that they would be a task force probably to come into the area and clean the area out. So that's why they punish their own. So if you may fuck up, sorry if I curse,
Yeah.
if you do some really f up stuff, then you get expelled or you get killed because you put the whole pack in jeopardy. I have also rules that I have to obey or follow, otherwise I will get killed, and I will never, because loyalty and trust are the key issue here. They're very loyal, and they base everything on loyal and trust.
So, hey, John, let me ask you then, with the pack that you're a member of and you get all this information from,
Yeah.
do they ever, and as you know, the Dogman entity is mysterious. Have you had an opportunity, because we hear about the spiritual side, the demonic side, the flesh and blood side, supernatural. Have you asked, or have they come forth to kind of clarify the differences between all these different groups of the Dogman?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They are flesh and blood when they are here on Earth, because they play by the earthly rules. Both them and Bigfoot play by the earthly rules. That's the whole big picture of it. But they are interdimensional, so they can cloak. They can stand breathing down your neck, basically, which I have, of course, experienced. But they are earthbound. So if you shoot one, they bleed, and they bleed red. The ones who are bleeding out black are something else, definitely. So they don't like the taste of human flesh. They don't even like the taste of dogs. They are the ones who maybe take one cow or one horse. They don't go all in for it. Or sheep. Here in Scandinavia, when we have a herd of sheep, and you read in the newspaper that it's been like 5, 10, 20, and they say it's a wolf. No, it's not a wolf, because they don't leave everything behind. It is a rogue dogman, because they take out the rage on this herd of sheep or deer, because we have enclosures with deer here as well. So it's really a difference of the different dogmen, of course, and you should look upon those dogmen, or the proper ones, also like humans, that don't act the same, we don't look the same all over the world.
Do they keep you versed on all the activity throughout the world? What packs are against humanity, which your clan tries to eradicate, of course, and then is there an ongoing war between different factions of the Dogman?
No, it isn't. But like I said, the rogue ones can form their own pack, like pirates, like totally outlaws, and they are at war with the ones who are within the organization. And then you have wars between some within the organization, because they want to be the upcomer. They want to take over the throne, which happened here. A mutiny happened here 2 years ago up here in Scandinavia, and Big Alpha told them that they took care of it. So a few of them were expelled, and the leaders of the mutiny, they got executed. So everything is very similar to old courts here in the medieval Europe. That if you go against the king, you get beheaded.
So, what? Because I think, along with like Bigfoot, I believe they have like a type of medicine man or shaman or something in each clan that maybe does their healing and that type of thing. Are we looking at the kind of the same layout in a clan of Big Dogman?
No.
No.
Bigfoot are very similar to us in one way, like because they are ape-like, if I may use those kind of terms. And Dogman, they are canine, of course.
Right.
So if a Dogman get injured, because often it is he, because the alpha female is within the pack. At home, you can say. They step into another dimension to heal, and then they come back. And if they don't have the time, if they don't have the time to do that one, they die. And you can never find the bones because they take care of the bones. They are living beneath the ground, the forest floor. If you find, anybody finds Dogman bone, it is because of some rogue one who get killed and nobody buried them. They don't take care of the rogue ones. And it's similar to, of course, skeleton from a bear. So that's why they say it's just a bear.
Oh.
And they can jump in and out. It's like a corridor. They can jump in and out, but still here they have some earthly rules to play by. The same thing goes for demonical stuff, demons as well. Shapeshifters, crawlers, skinwalkers. That's why you can put salt around and you can say some prayers and you can do this and you can do that. You have to invite the demonic entities into your home or to your body, because they play by a certain rule.
So what, I mean, we're seeing a lot of, and we talked about how the world's getting smaller with, of course, the population going up and everything.
Yeah,
and
the subdivisions.
And people encroaching on their territory, right?
Yeah.
Do they just, I mean, do they understand what's going on, or do they, are they confused by all this? And, I mean, because you're taking over their home. I can understand. I can understand if they got mad and held a grudge against all of us. But
yes.
That doesn't seem to be the case.
Yes, but the reason, like I said, they're very loyal, and because the highest power ordered them to protect the humankind. Of course, they hold grudges when they are chased away from their territory. It's like a conflict of interest there for themselves, of course. It depends on which kind of local president they have. But as long as you let them be and you respect them, they respect you. Now I'm speaking generally, of course.
Right.
But as soon as you try to go out and attack them or shoot at them, if they haven't done anything, then you spark a flame within them, and then they become vindictive. It's like somebody enter your house and start fussing a bit and take a room after room after room in your house or in your apartment. And I mean, to some certain extent, you get pissed as an owner, like, now it's enough. Enough is enough.
Right.
So if anybody come across them, if they have the properties and so on, just leave them be. And the reason why they come up and check the windows or knocking on the doors or jiggling the handles and scratching, if you haven't done anything, more or less, it is an organization for the youngsters to prove themselves to be worthy to be the warriors. So usually they are, if they are their whole pack, it's the youngsters, like the teenagers, pranking, you can say, evil pranking in some way. And if they speak, they're not dogmen. Dogmen don't speak, and they don't lure kids out and say, "Hey, come on out, I want to play." Those ones are demonic ones, something else.
Earlier you were saying that there's like a different, there's different packs and they're into different states, and they kind of have a governmental body, like a consortium, maybe. We've all heard about the Galactic Federation. So they're all together. Yeah. Do they get together? And as you mentioned, their goal, at least with the pack that you are a member, their goal is to protect humanity. So when you hear about all these accounts throughout the United States, are they abreast of the situations? As an example, we've all heard about the land between the lakes. Have they gotten with you or gotten together? Do they know what really went down there or somewhere else where they frown upon it? And do you have any inside scoop from them as to what occurred?
She asked Big Alpha about it, and like I said, he's very knowledgeable, so he knows everything. I mean, he knows everything basically. He knows about Facebook, and he described why they are afraid of electricity, because they've seen other dogmen be killed about electricity while they are close to railroads and so everything. They are so highly intelligent, so people can't grasp, while on the other side they are very, very animalistic.
So you haven't
And-
asked
and-
on. So
and
you
la-
haven't
la-
really quickly. You haven't asked then about the LBL specifically. So you really don't have an answer for that one.
Yeah, we have an answer for that one. And
No.
And
they
it
were
is-
that entity or that creature who attacked and killed the family, and maybe also the bow hunter, it wasn't a dogman. And according to the sketch that I've seen for many years, it's more like a gugwi-ish, but still not, because a gugwi is it's a retard cousin to the dogman, and they are more look like of a Bigfoot, so they look upon them as the retarded cousin from the country, inbred cousin, and they don't like them, and they hunt them and they kill them, because gugwi, they are ferocious, they are, like I said, retarded. So they might be the ones who are attacking humans, because they hunt during the night. And if they're gugwi killing any human, then the dogman knows that there will come this secret force, because the secret force exists. Big Alpha told us about one altercation here in Sweden a couple of years ago, where they came in, they have same kind of uniforms, but they spoke different languages, the soldiers. So never think for a second this doesn't exist, because it does. And all the countries who are affected by this stuff, they collaborate. The same thing with the alien stuff. Even though they fight in between, doesn't matter about the religion or such and such territory, they cooperate and collaborate when it comes to this kind of things, more or less. So no, it wasn't a dogman. And one another thing is that, like I said, the dogmen, they don't eat humans. They don't even like the flesh.
yeah.
Right.
So it could be, but when he told us that no, it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't a dogman.
Very good.
So the dogman that I saw, or entity, what
I
don't know. I don't know what it was.
We've been doing this too long. When we just go to entity, dogman,
I know.
spiritual, super.
Well, I mean, he said they didn't like the term dogman, but you know, they're
No.
Yeah, we can say dogman for the sake of it. It's not like he's gonna whoop my ass here afterwards.
Well, I didn't want to, you know, because I go out looking for these things. I don't want to offend them and, you know, end up lunch. But
they don't like human flesh.
well, that's
No.
true. Yeah, but they might, like, you know, I'm a bumble, so you know they may like bumble flesh. But
Yeah, you have some nice steak on you somewhere.
But they do like bacon, and they do like pork side. They do like burgers for real. That's why they reel it in when somebody have a barbecue outside in camping areas. Yes, they are really like the aroma of bacon. I
Well,
gave
there
the
you
bacon,
go.
and they appreciate it.
I'll be sure and do some ribs next time I'm out there. But the one I saw, we were talking about eye color a while ago, a little bit. The one I saw, I mean, it just had brown eyes, just like a normal canine.
Yeah, they have. Sorry to interrupt your takes, but they have
No, go
brown
ahead.
eyes. They have brown eyes. They have yellow eyes. They have blue eyes. They have green eyes. Rarely blue. Some of them have. I mean, it's not common, but usually they are yellow. And when they get mad, they can shift their eyes to fierce and red. But from the beginning, no. When if you come across somebody who can trying to speak, like
Right.
the Gadara stuff in the 30s, they are werewolves. Werewolves do exist, definitely, and werewolves stem from ancient black magic, and they don't shapeshift back into human form. Then you have the shapeshifters who are also dabbing with the demonic, devilish black magic, and they shift back and forth.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So werewolves werewolves, they don't have any tail. They can speak verbally because they have the vocal cords, even though they don't speak like we do, but still though they can form words, form sentences. And by the way, Dogman can speak all the languages. All the languages telepathically, of course, because they are so on the highest level. And Dogmen are also individuals, like humans. So the 6 big alphas are the most notable. They have the most knowledge of them all because they are the presidents. They are the kings. He is very wise, and his voice is like the dead Mufasa from The Lion King. He has a very dark voice, and he is very majestic and speaks like James Earl Jones. So they are very individuals, and then you of course have from Alpha you have the Omega probably like the one hyena who are a little bit dope from the Lion King. So not all of them have the knowledge of the Alpha because only the Alphas have the proper knowledge, and then it goes down. The same thing as, like I said, the bikie gangs, the highest top, they know everything, they control everything, or you have to follow the rules and regulations, not the prospect. He doesn't know a tenth of what the president knows.
Right. So we've heard so many encounters that and they look so different. Of course, they're individual, but they seem to have as much difference in them as dogs do, from breed to breed to breed, type of thing. I believe it was Scott Carpenter, had a picture of one that looked like a schnauzer. The one I saw, didn't have the wolf-like look to it. It was, more of a Saint Bernard looking muzzle on him, but it didn't have the jowls. But
then you have the Anubis type of
you have the Anubis one, you have the hyenas looking ones. Yeah. So are they able to interbreed with dogs?
No.
Okay.
And also you have the stories of some humans says that they can, breed.
So they can't interbreed with humans either.
No, it's like it's like what do you say? It's like a timber wolf humping a squirrel. It's physically impossible. Gotcha. It's and it's also a big taboo. And the thing is that everything is true from the books that they were mercenaries down around the Mediterranean and the Middle East, North Africa. And that's why they were fallen out there way before, because they don't care much about humans in that way, and they look upon the leaders or the kings who have the purest heart, because they know right from wrong, so they don't go and be mercenaries for the highest bidder. And they were used to different things, and they got ripped off from the contract, you can say, or from the agreements. And the reason why there are not so many dogmen down there now is because they get affected in some way about the weather. It's dry, it's very heated. They get affected from mosquitoes. So that's why the Anubis type has died out. And also they got hunted. You should never forget that one, that humans have killed dogmen as well. They are not impossible to kill. So that's why there are not so many dogmen around. And here in Scandinavia, there are like Vikings. You can see the pictures from this great artist, Rosalski. If you the Polish artist, he painted fantastic pictures and drawings. I think Josh have put up some drawings on his Facebook page, and they are just like Vikings, like big ones, And then you have more slimmer down on the Balkan, like Yugoslavia, East Europe, Russia, the same thing, down in Spain, because you can be that big also because of the weather and the climate, you can say, not the weather, but the climate. I don't have much knowledge about those few in Africa and in South America, to be honest. They don't look at all like the dogmen that we have on the North American continent and Europe, and also North Russia. And some of them migrate over the Bering Strait long time ago. So but they keep them to themselves in the continent, different continents. They don't jump to different continents just because they can, bend through portals. No.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, John, really quickly, me and Tex, the girls, we've been doing this for a while now. We talk about Dogman, all sorts of different subject matter when it comes to Dogman. And one that I'm fascinated with, and I personally believe that some Dogmen, you heard about the Dogman soldiers. I
Yeah.
personally heard and had a couple accounts of people I've spoken with said they think that some of these Dogman entities that are created in labs. Now, if that's the case, and if this is true, I think it probably goes on. Maybe not a Dogman, but some sort of hybrid creature, we could call it.
Yes.
If that exists, how does your clan of Dogman, they can't possibly accept that, right? What's their thoughts on that? Do they leave them alone? Do they, as long as
Big
they stay out of your pack or leave you alone, you kind of leave them alone?
Big Alpha told us this one, that you can't cage a Dogman or a Bigfoot. They die at will because they have high knowledge of their soul and spirit can leave the body. So you can't cage, unless, of course, one is very injured and, of course, some military force pick them up and lock them in for a little while. We talk about hours. The ones who are created in lab and also used as super soldiers are not Dogmen. They are something else. And what he said latest now, because Misha asked him again, he said that there are more demonic ones who collaborates with some other entities and evil humans. Everything that you guys been talking about the last years, about the elite, about the Illuminati, and everything is true. Also the Galactic Federation. Even though that's another subject, but
Right.
everything is true. And Dogmen hate reptiles, because the reptiles enslaved Dogmen hundreds of thousands of years ago. So they hate them and they kill them, and they kill the rakes, the crawls, or the rake, you can call whatever, or clashing with them when they goes and everything that comes in between, everything.
So
they are not proper Dogmen. They're something else. But
Right.
they take the shape of a Dogman, and I believe that the experiment and the labs, they create something together with something evil, because they are evil. They are evil people who rule this world.
Yeah, I didn't think they would be Dogmen if they were created as something maybe in their image, and so my question, I just really wondered if that's something that was frowned upon, and
Oh yeah. If they come across them, they kill them.
Okay.
They kill everything. They sometimes you hear about stories that Bigfoot kill Dogmen. Yeah, that can happen.
Sure.
But usually the Dogman wins because they're so fast. It's like the Hulk fighting Rocky. Hulk Hogan, when he take this grip about Rocky and squeeze him tight. The same thing goes with Bigfoot. If Bigfoot get the grips around a Dogman, they squeeze them or crush them, or stomp to their heads, of course. But Dogmen are more faster. They are faster than the Bigfoot. So, but usually they don't clash that much because they keep apart.
Well, they probably don't want to. The way I think their relationship is, it's like any two apex predators. They have to tolerate each other because they don't want to take a chance on injury. They don't want to take a chance on one of them get killed. Probably most of the time they bluff each other, and the other one backs down. That'd be that's my guess. I mean, that's what happens usually in nature between two anything really. I mean, hell, even humans do it, because they we're really the only idiots that want to fight. I mean,
yeah. That's why they look upon humans as a lower race, because we destroy the planet, we destroy each other. over faith, over territory, over oil, gas, whatever.
Right.
And that's the master plan to create chaos. That's why they look down on us, like we are in this ant jar or their little ant farm that they have to
Right.
protect. So that's
Like,
the
God, these guys are at it again. Good God.
Yeah.
And also, I will say that USA is Dogman territory. Canada is Bigfoot territory. The same goes here in Scandinavia. Scandinavia, Northern Europe, Eastern Europe, Southern Europe, the whole of Europe, more or less, it's Dogman territory. And Bigfoot, we have Bigfoot clans here as well, but they are not so many.
Right.
I don't know about Russia because Russia is very vast. I mean, it's 8 different time zones, so I don't have that much information or knowledge about that one. Because the same thing goes in Canada. You can have they have, of course, Dogman up there, packs, but there are more clans of Bigfoot because it's so vast regions up there land, so they don't have to clash. It's food for everybody. And
So-
if they don't have any food, they go to different other dimensions and hunt them because they need, of course, a lot of meat. They're not so much omnivores like Bigfoot.
Right. So I had a question about, I mean, do they give birth to litters, or is it like one or two at a time, or?
They only the alpha female breeds with the alpha male and they get pups. So they have only maybe one litter. I don't know exactly how many, but there is only one. And then they have the youngsters who they raise, and the beta couple, they raise the youngsters because alpha has other things to do, you can say. And also the alpha female, she backs up her husband. So they are working more or less like a wolf pack in that way. And then they get more and more, and then they have to go away because otherwise they get inbreeding in the pack. So they have the ones who are not going to take over the throne, you can say, or be the next president.
Right.
They have to go away and form their own packs, like it is in the animal kingdom.
So
they don't have any like a 1 liter a year or 2 liters a year. So no, not that way.
Right.
And they only mate because they don't like physical contact, you can say, even though they are on a very high level. They only do it just because of the mating purpose. They find physical contact between adults of humans, like they find it very icky.
Gotcha.
Miss Misha asked Big Alpha one time if he wanted a hug, and he was like, "No, thank you, I'm good." It's like, a mom tried to hug her teenage kids, like, "Oh no,
Right.
no, I'm good."
Right.
And he's aware.
Okay.
He's aware about everything. I mean, I don't have access to all this knowledge. He let us know the things that we need to know to talk to you guys and inform you guys about it. And it's about, he said, about 400 people on this earth that can communicate with them,
Right.
that they have selected. Sounds like I'm the chosen one, but it's not that way. It is. This is his information. I'm just grateful and happy that my puzzle of life have come together to a puzzle, the different pieces. Because now I know from early age why I am who I am and how I acted when I was a kid and what I experienced.
Yeah.
So
I think it's fascinating. I really do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever be, I don't know if I can say blessed or cursed with this ability, but it's fascinating nonetheless.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I wouldn't say it's heavy on your shoulder, but once the pieces of the puzzle came together, of course, I was dumbfounded. I was like, okay. Because you don't expect it to be that way, that you can communicate. You don't expect it to be selected by them, and then I have to be as good as proper and stoic as I can be, because I'm loyal to my pack and I'm loyal to. I and Misha are under Big Alpha's protection.
Right.
straight from him, that as long as we play our cards right, which we do, of course, we're not stupid.
Do you? Yeah, I was
we
about to ask if you ever, you have to be maybe with your head. I don't know if head on the swivel's correct, but you've got to. Don't you feel any pressure that if you do something wrong or you do something that's out of bounds for your pack with your pack that maybe they would pay you a visit one night?
No, it's more like Big Alpha. He would, because I don't have any contact yet with my pack. I've just seen my handlers or my bodyguards.
Okay.
Right.
That's only two ones. I don't know the name of them, and they don't show up very often. They saved me one time when I was driving the car on a snowy road in the wintertime a couple of years ago. But they, it is Big Alpha, and he's like a big daddy, wiser, or grandpa.
Right.
We know what we can do and we know what we can't do. I don't drink any Jack Daniels anymore, for instance, because he's not very fond of me getting not heavy drunk, but unsober, because I lose control, of course, as you do when you drink. And he doesn't think that beneath me to drink alcohol. He said it's not good for you, and I don't like this one. Okay, then I stick to my Budweiser. And this is the truth. Yeah, he said, yeah, beer it's okay. He thinks like, I don't like you to drink, but yeah, it's okay. But I don't like when you get hammered or smashed or want to go all crazy and just empty your brain from alcohol. No, he doesn't like it.
I think I found those paintings you were talking about.
Yeah,
by that Polish artist.
Jakub Rosalski. Jakub. Jakub. Yep, exactly. And he has so many paintings who are incredible, fantastic artists. Not only with Dogman, it's also some other, not science fiction, but that one, I love the picture.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, they're both really cool, actually.
Reminds me of album covers for Molly Hatchet back in the day.
Mm-hmm. And then you have that one, yeah.
The Nordic.
I mean, and then you have a fantastic picture of Roman soldiers standing in front of a pack of Dogman or a Dogman, or the Dogman actually are have the Roman soldiers' clothes. I don't know, a helmet. I don't know. I don't remember. They used a helmet and body armors and stuff when they were mercenaries.
Right.
But then after the fallout, they don't need any spears and helmet and because if you're a mercenary, you have to fall in line, and if the gear, military gear, was that way back then. So some people ask me about if they were the ones who built the pyramids. No, they were not, but they were around.
Well, I mean, you had
and back then, it was common knowledge. That's the different from now, because we fade away from all these ancient stories and stuff like that. That's why we get so scared. That's why we can't handle if we see a face of a Dogman. And then they created this werewolf stuff. I mean, the Dog Soldiers, it got me really, really scared. The only movie that I was like, whoa. And that was way, way, way before I got in contact with them, because that one is one of the best movies and most lookalikes.
And what movie was that?
Dog Soldiers from 2002.
Yeah, that's
great movie.
I just finally watched that movie 2 months ago. I found it on YouTube, actually.
Yeah.
That was intense. I liked it.
Yeah, but because the beginning is more or less authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Because what people don't know is that they have lots of woods up on the Scottish Highland. It's not only pastures or rocks or grass or what we see in pictures. They have proper woods there, big ones. So it has happened, the thing that in the beginning, of course, with a little bit of dramatization, that something ripped those kids out from the tent. Yes.
Yeah, that's a great movie. I mean, if you haven't seen it, folks, go watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when do say that there's a clan on somebody's property? What do the and you were talking about them being tested and all this kind of stuff. My- what does it take to, or what kind of test do you go through, or they put you through to before they deem you, um,
Worthy?
yeah,
Represent?
worthy of communication?
Uh, for Misha, I can tell her story. I'm allowed to tell her story that she was walking with her dog, a former dog, out on not the peninsula, but there are pathways here in Sweden which you can bike and also you can walk, and it's a separate, and it's by tarmac. And she was walking by the sea, and then she smelled wet dog. And of course, you have to be a little bit open. And she just heard the voices of "Get out, get lost,
Mm,
go away. It's our turf." And of course, she got dead scared.
right.
So she she just went away and just ran with the dog. Will walk very fast from that place, that area. And she saw them, and it was the youngsters because they're a little bit more testosterone, you can say, and they're a little bit more aggressive, and they want to prove themselves worthy. They are the watchdogs. So then she walked there another time because she didn't know what to think, and then she saw Big Alpha for the first time because he was a little bit further away in the woodline. And they also laid one deer over this biker walkway or footway, you can say, path. And it was totally exactly like you have in the US. It was just killed and
Right.
not torn apart, but just broken legs and stuff. And it was a big fuss in the town there because nobody knew why. It was just laying across the bike road. And then it graduated from there that they tested her, and then she got the connection. It wasn't that they became friends from the very first beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So they have this knowledge about who can they speak to,
Right.
who are up for it, you can say,
Gotcha.
on the receiving end, and they scare you. One time I was driving, and I would just stop at an off turn, and it was raining. It was December. I was going to some friend right before Christmas, and I really need to go straight off on the side. And then I just heard, "You should not go. You don't step out of the car. Go away." I didn't
Mm,
see anything, and it was pitch black because in December it's dark here, almost
yeah.
24/7. So I just did that one, and then she said, "Yeah, he tested you." It wasn't Big Alpha. It was one of my handlers. So I just did that one, and another time when I was out in the wood, and I had this feeling now, just a couple of years ago, and you get this tingling feeling, and you stiffen up, and feels like electrical shock. And the second time when not when I saw the one of them, but the ones who stood behind the hedge, you don't get very cocky, even though I knew that it was it or it was one of them.
Right.
You get very humble. You get very humble, and then have some other interactions. You can say different things, but they can see your soul, your heart, your spirit, and then they decide to show themselves or start communicating. And I know another guy who I met. He had encounters with one rogue one, I think, and then the pack. Nowadays, a pack is roaming around in his city, outside of his city, and he doesn't want anything to do with it because he was so traumatized. He got PTSD. So he asked me, like, can you ask them not to be so close to me? It's good that the rogue one is gone, but still, though, I don't want to see them again, or I don't want to. Yeah, sure. So for them, it's like he's not weak, but he's not up to his task, because he was also a potential one, but you know. So that's the way they test you. If you get dead scared or almost faint or have a heart attack, they see like, no, you should not be a prospect. We'd not even hang around.
Yeah, and also
So-
it seems to me too really quickly that with their abilities to look inside, as you said, your soul, they already have a concept of what you're all about.
Yeah.
When they go about accepting you, right?
Yes.
And bringing you along, they have a preconceived notion what you're all about, what your intentions are, as they say.
Yeah, they are scouting. If the same
Yeah.
goes if for a baseball team, a basketball team, or football team, like
Right.
this guy have the potential. Oh, not those ones, but this one. Let's see what he's up to. Put him in the game. Put him on the bench. Then in the game and see what happens.
I'd like to know what they think of me about wandering around out there alone in the dark. Can't get rid of this guy. Man.
No, I think the some of them get very annoyed in one way, but they have also respect for those ones who want to not maybe get in connection, but to explore what they are.
Right.
They are not all of them are ferocious, but if you just not you, Tex, or you, Rob, but if somebody just walk into their den, of course they're going to get pissed because it's their home.
Well,
They live underground in that way, that they live in caves, not like
Right.
they live deep in the inner earth stuff, because up here it can get really cold, and then they have the heat beneath the forest floor.
right.
And we have, of course, lots of caves here in Scandinavia as well, because we have the ridge of Scandinavian ridge all the way between Norway and Sweden, and they can handle tools. That's no problem for them. They don't use it that much, but they can handle it. And we're talking about axe, hammer, stuff like that. They can. They don't have any dresses in that way. So if somebody
Right.
say, "Oh, it's a dogman with the jeans and button shirt and from the clothesline," nope, that one is not the dogman. But they have ceremonial clothes,
Right.
exactly like you have the different kind of clothes that they have in Game of Thrones, the kings. Not that they
Right.
don't wear any crowns and they don't have any jewelries and stuff like that, but they
Right.
have this cape. Not the, what do you say the other word for it? Not the pelts. No. They have the more like the knights, the kind of
Armor.
capes that the knights have.
Oh, like a cloak.
Armor, yeah, more or less armor, yeah.
So
Yeah.
we got a few few
not-
minutes left here.
Oh, I
Um,
forgot the word.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
We got a few minutes left here. We got a lot of questions. So if you don't
But
mind,
because if you have any food for thoughts and you have any questions, and also I can tell you more about the encounters if you want me back on the show in the future, it's no problem. In the near future, then we can continue it, because there's so many questions
oh,
when
absolutely.
I've been on air. So it's not fit for only 90 minutes, because now you get the information from me. All of you can do whatever you want with it, but
Yeah.
the ones who are open-minded, they like, okay, then it's a follow-up question. That's another question, and I know that I can answer a lot of them. Not everything, because it takes hours and hours to explain the
Oh,
whole
absolutely.
big picture of the different universe and how they came here and why these are not that and why they fight, or how the big picture works for them.
Right.
I have a certain knowledge of it, and now he hasn't been around. But when I was on another show, he was here telepathically, and basically now he knows that I have the knowledge that I can speak for myself. But sometimes when I answer some questions, he come through telepathically, and it's actually he who answered the questions. I'm just a vessel. I'm not just the
Right.
interpreter. it's hard to type on the keyboard with the claws that they have.
Yeah.
With the paw.
Yeah, would imagine. So just a few of them. Yvette Fogo asked, well, she says she's not sure that they're a creation of God, but you mentioned earlier about them. You referred to them about talking about the great creator.
Yes.
So are we talking about the same thing here?
Yep.
Okay.
God is the big boss over big alphas.
Okay.
The answer straight to him. And then I know some people ask questions about Jesus, and they see Jesus as a very important person. They don't care much for religion. They don't have any belief because they know. They have the knowledge. I mean, we're talking about the big alphas now, the ones, or especially my big alpha. He's very knowledgeable of everything, more or less. But they also know that Jesus was the Son of God, but also God, because it was God in human form who stepped down on earth to educate people and enlighten people about his Father, which is actually the Trinity and everything. So they have great respect for him. But so they're not like, oh no, we are antichrist or we are this and that, but because they are here on a mission as an army straight from God. I know that sounds pretentious or that sounds crazy, but that's the way it is according to him and also what I believe. Otherwise, we've been wiped out for centuries ago. They could have killed all the mankind 4,000 years ago, and they've been here for since, like I said, the dawn of time.
So John Tempering asked, what are the ones that invade your dreams? Now you were talking about the demonic ones and that type of thing. Is that what?
Oh no, they don't invade my dreams in that way. They are the demonic ones. Demonic.
No, I think he's talking about people in general that have these Dogman-like entities, that invade their dreams.
Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood.
No, that's okay.
No, they don't, because only the ones. I don't want to sound pompous, but only the ones that they communicate with. So the other ones are other things.
Gotcha.
And if they are not from the good side, which they maybe not, then you get nightmares and you get scared of it, and so for all the right reasons. I would be the same thing. I mean, I'm not immune from nightmares now and then, of course.
No, absolutely.
But if I would dream about the Dogman in that way, then I know it's most likely from a message from Big Alpha. But he can speak with me, of course, when I'm awake too. So he doesn't jump in. They don't interfere in that way. They don't have any. They don't gain anything from it.
Right. So if that happens, that's something else messing with you and maybe taking, But
and when I was on Jeff's show 3 years ago, before I got in contact with Josh and you guys, I made 5 episodes, and you can hear in my voice that everything was good. We chat before we started off air, and then like a switch, boom, I got totally drained. Of course, I was more hyped, and it was more brand new to me. Right. But still, though, the third or fourth episode we did, then I got drained, and like I said now, if you have nightmares, if you have some bad user vibes and stuff, just say Saint Michael's Prayer.
Right.
You don't have to say it loud. You can say it within yourself. It helps. It helped me. I didn't believe in that stuff 10 years ago. Of course, I also believed in saints and angels, and I am a Christian, of course, and I believe in God and stuff, but it helps. The same thing if you go out in excursions. Like Josh asked me, well, if you say to my Big Alpha, in the name of Jesus, I rebuke you, then we just like, he smiles now. He just it's like Baloo shaking his head to Mowgli, like,
I got you.
Not the dear. No. We're not the one. But it helps you guys to rebuke the other things. Like I said
Right.
before you came on, Rob, that they are demonic ones and they have to be invited or challenged. That's the two
Right.
things.
I'm in trouble. So
So, or wear an amulet of a medallion of Saint Michael or the cross or whatever, because it does protect you from the demonic entities.
yeah,
Powerful.
If
yeah,
you believe, of course, you have to believe in it.
exactly. Depends how much faith you have in it. Yeah.
No.
So the Cryptid Podcast wants to know about the Michigan Dogman. I mean, we've over here in the States, that's where this whole phenomenon kind of started.
Yeah.
And of course, that's in Rob's neck of the woods. So, do you have any knowledge about that?
Yeah. The Michigan Dogman, all the legends, there are two, and they've been there, like I said in the beginning of this show. They came there, and there was
Right.
fight with the natives because they had a fallout with the natives.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, and then the settlers came and bashed the natives out of
See,
their territory, and then they have the fight with the Dogman, and Dogman get pissed because, hey, we won over the natives, it's our territory, and they're so aggressive up in Michigan. Now, nowadays, I can go there, but like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I said I would never step foot in Taylor, Mississippi, or Michigan.
John, that makes perfect sense. I'm really glad you brought this up because I do a lot of research on the history of Michigan, and not just Dogman or Bigfoot, but just the history of my state. And I must tell you that what you just said, I mean, the Europeans that first came over, the settlers that came over with the First Nations, the Indians, there was so much fighting and there was so much war that went on between them for centuries, for decades, that a lot of the First Nations, there's a lot of tainted land, there's a lot of cursed land where I live, and they've even alleged to cast the spirit of these entities, evil entities. I'm not talking evil dogmen, but a lot of these dog men that seem to roam my state are nefarious. Now I know what your clan is not that, but a lot of these curses and spells or the hexes they're put on is always for something to taint the farms of the settlers when they were trying to become farmers, or their lands where they roam, where deer roam, got drained up for odd, peculiar reasons. There's a lot of great history behind that, and I think that a lot of it is from some of these dogmen that we perceive to be the actual Michigan dogman, when it's probably something more demonic in nature.
Oh yeah, both. You are totally correct that some of them are demonic nature because some of the evil medicine men from the natives, they collaborated with or put a spell on or something like that. But also if you say the regular dogman, the true dogman, they were so pissed of backing away, backing down. So it happens so much just up in Michigan because there's a lot of game there, a lot of wildlife.
Oh, yeah.
It's harder to create a big fuss for a pack of dogmen around San Diego because there's not many food there, if you say, compared to up in the woods of the belt of the fir tree and the Christmas tree and the pine trees and everything, that kind of forest. And the Michigan Peninsula is in that way. There's so much game, so it's like you go and snatch something from somebody's fridge.
Right.
Yeah, right.
You take a sirloin steak every day from somebody's fridge. Of course, they're gonna get pissed. Hey, it's my.
Yep.
I've been hunting for this one, so that's why they are so ferocious. They're not evil. The true dogmen are not evil in that way, but they don't want
They
any
can be
connection
ferocious.
with the people of Michigan, and also you guys in the U.S. A lot of people, all of you, most of you have guns. So what
Oh,
you
yeah.
do, you protect yourself, and then you shoot them, and then they get more pissed, and they are very hard to kill. I know how to kill them, but I'm never going to reveal it because then I get really bad. I mean, bad
Right.
Jew from my end. But they have. I can reveal that they have a very thick chest plate, like an extra armor, like a
Yeah,
Kevlar
makes
armor,
sense.
and also they have a genital plate
No.
because
Oh.
covering, like a dog when they stand up and everything, because they do like monkeys, the rogue ones. They try to snatch their biting in the groin area of each other when they fight.
Wow.
But like Big Alpha said, we don't do that one. It's beneath us.
Mm.
It's like two savages fighting in anywhere in the world who are mentally ill. They don't have any rules. There's not even street fight. They don't have any rules.
Right.
But the proper one, the civilized one, the true ones, they have rules for them if they fight, because they clash to, of course, sometimes as well. So that's the answer of the Michigan Dogmen, and that they carry on very much animosity. I wouldn't say hatred, because they should still protect the human race, the humankind, but they hold grudges from those who fought with them, both the native ones and also the settlers.
Okay.
And I can tell you a story that Miss Misha, she went out in the woods with a couple of kids because she was working with kids, and one of her colleagues, they went in a logging road, a small one, just only that a tractor can go over one truck.
Right.
And they came across on the ground, it was a mark, one X. And they kept on, and she felt stuff. Her colleague didn't. And then they're barking. And she didn't want to say anything to her colleague. But the colleague noticed, because then when they went back, she said, "Oh, we should not go any further." And the colleague said, "Yeah, come on, it's okay. Let's go another couple of 100 yards in onto the road, Logan Road." And then those guys appear, and that was from a different pack. And she saw them, of course, and communicated with them, and they were not very happy, not happy at all. But then, boom, boom, two from Big Alpha's pack just appeared and said, "She's with us."
Wow.
And then they, sorry, we didn't know. Sorry, guys. Yeah, because then they have respect for the Big Alpha, because Big Alpha is the president.
Right.
Same goes with the different dogmen in the US. They can fight amongst each other, and also, for instance, if I go, not all the packs going to be very friendly if they see me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Not even up here in Scandinavia. So, but I'm glad I have my two handlers who will do just the same thing as they did with her. And I know it sounds crazy, but I have them always my back. But if I screw up in one way or another, if I start something
Right.
with somebody or some things, I'm on my own. The same goes with the ones who are patched humans with the vests. If you do anything to embarrass the patch you have on your back of your vest,
Right.
then you are on your own. In the worst case scenario, you get expelled, and even worse, you get punished by death from it,
Gotcha.
because it's a betrayal, and they hate betrayal.
Wow.
So does it make sense, Rob? About the
Yeah,
Michigan?
no, it does make sense. A lot. Excuse me, makes a lot of sense to me. A lot of what you say, I've learned about prior, and yeah, you're spot on with a lot of that. So,
And I can also inform all of you guys that the American Big Alpha is in northeastern part of the USA.
Okay.
And all the dogmen, all the true dogmen, they are wired telepathically together, all of them. I mean, the Big Alphas, they have a special connection, of course, but you
Right.
can see it as a long wave radio, so they can talk to each other all over the world, and they know what the other ones are doing. That's why they expel the rogue ones. They can see a rogue one and say, "You have to travel this and this distance. You go way up to Alaska," but they still have check on you. And if you have, like I said, if you fuck up in the major stuff, then they kill you. Otherwise, they just expel. They say, "Yeah, you have to go this. You have to go to another state. You have to be on your own." But
Right.
it's not like they're chasing after them unless it's very severe, because then they kill them immediately. They don't have any task force themselves to go and say, "Hey, we're going to go after Bob up here. Going to chase after him up in Alaska."
So,
He lives about in Pennsylvania, around Pennsylvania area, is what I get told.
okay. So the Cryptid Podcast just wants to say thank you for what you said about werewolves, because their dad saw one back in Alaska in the late '60s. So, you know, appreciate you
Yeah, thank you for that, because I believe they exist.
differentiating it for sure.
They do exist, and they are not affected if you say, "In the name of Jesus, I rebuke you," because they are demonic in that way. But werewolves, it was so long ago, so they don't get affected. It's only the ones who are shapeshifters, skinwalkers, demonic stuff from present time, more or less.
Werewolf probably more a derivative like black magic too, correct?
Right.
Yeah. But it is from very ancient time. So
Yes, I got you.
they also get litter. They also get puppies and stuff like that.
Okay.
But they are on the dark side of it. And
Yeah.
some people say, "Oh, a werewolf can take
However,
out
not by their own choice, though.
From the beginning."
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So I heard about one story. I don't know if it was made up or a real one, but it was down from Alabama that one dogman talked to one guy and actually protected him. And maybe that dogman, because they're also intelligent, they have this spell on them, and they don't want to be that way, but they can't change back.
Gotcha.
So you have this side of ferocious side and animalistic side, and then they have, maybe, I don't know, because I've never been in contact with one of those. And here in Scandinavia, and especially in Sweden and Norway, we don't have any werewolves because they got extinct in the early 1800s from the court, from the king, because they have a problem with wolves here back then. So they said, let's go out and hunt wolves. And then they wanted to get the werewolves. So both wolves and werewolves were extinct here. The dogmen, they keep the distance because dogmen are, like I said, more intelligent, but the werewolves, they were extinct here. So we don't have any up here.
Well, that's good to know.
So we have a few Bigfoot clans, but more dogmen, because dogmen rule here, because they had, like I said, we have approximately 40, and it's about 20-25 in each pack. Approximately.
Well, John, it's been an absolutely fascinating show, and I'm on behalf of Krista and Brandy, which I know they wanted to be here, but I'm kind of glad they weren't, because this was a really fascinating show.
I'm kind of glad that Jason McLean has something else to do, because I did my show and I'm like, well, I'm going to watch this show. And then
I would say, guys, I'm very happy to finally be on your show, because now I killed two birds in one stone, because now I have the privilege to talk to both of you and also inform all the listeners. And I know that a lot of more listeners would listen to this podcast after the live stream, because it's Friday evening, isn't it?
Yep.
At your place? Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Right now it's what time is it here in Sweden? It's 3:41 a.m.
Oh wow!
Oh wow! You get to bed then 3:41. I got it's the weekend starting for us, but yeah, I'm still.
It's 8 p.m. or 8:41 p.m. here. So
yeah,
9:41 where I am, and then.
And then you have the daylight saving time, because otherwise we are 6 hours ahead of Central Time.
We did spring forward already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Amy Creel. And I want to say thanks real quick, to Amy Creel for the super chat, and also Keith from 1675. Thank you for the super chat. And John, once again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much. In the future, I'll get your contact information from the girls, and I'd like to have you on the porch. And I know BMR wants to have you on his show too.
We'll spread it out over the summer. It'd be great. Yeah, great show, John. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, and I would like to say that if you want to see the picture of Big Alpha, you can go to my Facebook page. It's John Phoenix North.
John Phoenix North.
Yeah, John Phoenix North.
I'll have to
in
copy
one
and
word.
paste it for text.
Yeah, because Rob has it. We've been friends on
Okay.
the Facebook for a long time, and also if somebody want to add me on Facebook, they can do that one, and maybe I collect some questions, or you collect questions, and I come back and answer them. This is my task here, to be the link between them and you guys, and I also learn.
Yes.
Yep.
Very good.
Sounds
Very
good.
Well, once again, thank you. And
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for time.
good, John. Awesome
Thank
show.
you. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Go over to his Facebook and you can see the picture of the big alpha. So, and make your own mind up about that. Rob, man, I appreciate you jumping in with me tonight.
Yeah,
man.
no, I seen that. I was just finishing up, so I was gonna tune in and watch you and Jason, and then I'm like, "Where's Jason?" And then I remember he sent me a text yesterday that if I could fill in. I was like, "Well, I don't know if I'll be home because I had something else going on, this, that, and the other." Then yeah, it was just good old text. I said, "You know what? I'm popping on in." I'm glad I did.
Yeah, it was a great show. I'm
awesome
looking forward to having John on both of our shows. It's going to be good.
It'd be fantastic.
Jason is actually on Josh's show on PRT tonight. So
That's why he couldn't.
Yeah.
Go check out, run over, see Jason McLean.
Yep.
Very good.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all later. Thank y'all for joining us. Y'all have a great night.
This is the future. Evolution.
The Crossing Realms Conference launches September 19th and 20th and will dock in Richmond, Missouri. This is already being called the event of the year, folks. With an unprecedented list of speakers and special guests, 2 days of cryptids, UFOs, and paranormal presentations, along with a celebrity-filled ghost hunt, meet and greet, gallery reading, vendors, and a film screening. This promises to be both educational and fun. Go to Eventbrite.com to secure your tickets and vendor slots before they are all abducted. They're going fast.
Ah.